For 72 years, humanity searched the universe for signs of life. They listened to radio whispers hidden in cosmic noise. They launched probes beyond the edge of the solar system. They stared through powerful telescopes, hoping the darkness might blink back. It never did. The universe remained silent, vast, cold, and indifferent, until the day it wasn't. The object appeared near Jupiter, first mistaken for a sensor glitch. Astronomers noticed a ripple in space, like heat distortion bending light around an invisible shape. It didn't reflect sunlight properly. It didn't match any known asteroid, comet, or natural phenomenon. And then it moved. Not in an orbit. Not under gravity. It moved with intention. Within minutes, observatories across the world confirmed the anomaly. Something massive had entered the solar system, and it was accelerating toward Earth. Governments were alerted. Scientists scrambled to explain what they were seeing. News outlets speculated about experimental satellites or classified military technology. Then the object split apart. 1 became 10. 10 became hundreds. Hundreds became a fleet. Panic began quietly, first in government war rooms, then in military headquarters, then in the eyes of scientists who realized the impossible was happening. Humanity was no longer alone, and whatever had arrived was not interested in introductions. The fleet passed Mars without slowing. No signals were detected. No communication attempts were made. No language, no greeting, no warning. Only silence. Then Earth's satellites began to disappear. Thousands of artificial eyes watching the planet blinked out in perfect sequence. Weather systems failed. GPS networks collapsed. Communications fractured as if cut by an invisible blade. The first visible strike came above the Pacific Ocean. Witnesses described streaks of blue-white light falling from the sky without sound. No explosions echoed. No thunder followed. Entire naval formations simply vanished beneath columns of shimmering energy that faded as quickly as they appeared. Cities went dark within seconds. Air traffic lost navigation simultaneously across continents. Emergency systems failed without explanation. Entire coastlines glowed faintly where the atmosphere itself seemed to ripple under unseen pressure. Human defenses responded instantly. Missiles launched, aircraft scrambled, fleets mobilized. None of it mattered. Every attempt to track the attackers failed. Radar returned impossible readings. Targeting systems locked onto positions that no longer existed by the time weapons arrived. The invaders moved like they understood humanity's technology better than humanity did. 6 hours. That was all it took. 6 hours to reduce global infrastructure to fragments. 6 hours to remind humanity how fragile civilization truly was. Then, just as suddenly as they had appeared, the alien fleet stopped attacking. The ships held position in orbit for exactly 3 minutes and 17 seconds, long enough for every surviving telescope to see them clearly. Their shapes were unnatural, smooth, geometric structures that seemed grown rather than built. Light bent strangely around their surfaces, making them difficult to focus on directly. They were not damaged. They had not been threatened. They had simply been measuring. Then they left. The fleet vanished in the same distorted ripple that had first revealed them, slipping away faster than any human craft could follow. No pursuit was possible. No explanation existed. Humanity was left staring upward, surrounded by silent satellites and burning horizons, unsure whether the nightmare had ended or paused. 12 hours later, every operational device on Earth activated simultaneously. Phones vibrated. Screens flickered. Emergency radios turned on by themselves. A signal had arrived. The transmission contained no image, no sound, no recognizable language. Only text, perfectly translated into every human language at once. 3 words appeared on billions of screens across the planet. Assessment complete. A pause followed. Then a second line appeared. Resistance inadequate. No demands were given. No threats followed. Only silence returned to the stars. Humanity had not been conquered. Humanity had been evaluated. And somewhere in the darkness beyond the solar system, something had taken notes. The world did not panic the way many had feared. It adapted. Within hours of the transmission, emergency summits were held across every continent. Nations that had once argued over borders, trade, and ideology suddenly faced a truth larger than politics. Humanity was not alone. And it was not safe. Global networks were slowly restored, but the damage left behind by the 6-hour attack ran deeper than shattered satellites and burned infrastructure. Entire defense systems had been disabled without resistance. Critical communication grids had failed simultaneously, as if the attackers understood exactly where to strike before humanity even realized it had weaknesses. For the first time in recorded history, every major world power shared intelligence without hesitation. No country wanted to face the stars alone. Fragments of destroyed satellites were recovered from orbit. Debris from scorched naval fleets was studied with unprecedented urgency. Every piece of data gathered during the attack was analyzed by thousands of researchers working around the clock. The conclusion was unsettling. The alien fleet had not used its full power. Energy signatures recorded during the strikes suggested massive reserves of unused capacity. Weapons capable of planetary destruction had been deliberately calibrated to minimize long-term damage. The attackers could have erased entire cities permanently. They chose not to. The pattern became impossible to ignore. Power stations had been disabled, not annihilated. Communication arrays had been crippled, not vaporized. Military installations had been neutralized with precision measured down to individual structures. The attack had not been meant to destroy humanity. It had been meant to test it. Hidden inside classified reports was a growing realization. Earth had not survived because it was strong. Earth had survived because it had been allowed to. That truth was never released to the public. Instead, the official explanation described the attackers as unknown aggressors with unclear motives. Citizens were reassured that defenses were being improved. Reconstruction programs were announced. Economic recovery plans stabilized global markets before fear could spiral into chaos. But beneath the surface, humanity had already begun to change. Secret facilities appeared beneath mountains and deep within stable continental bedrock. Governments funded research projects that had once been dismissed as theoretical fantasy. Artificial intelligence systems were given unprecedented autonomy to analyze alien technology patterns and predict future encounters. Entire branches of science accelerated overnight. Propulsion research advanced decades in months. Experimental materials stronger than steel and lighter than carbon composites entered production. Power generation methods once considered impossible began to show promise under desperate innovation. Humanity was no longer preparing for war against itself. Humanity was preparing for something beyond Earth. The psychological shift was even more dramatic. The illusion of cosmic isolation had protected humanity for centuries. The stars had been viewed as distant mysteries, beautiful, unreachable, harmless. Now every point of light in the night sky represented uncertainty. Somewhere beyond those stars existed a civilization that had evaluated Earth the way scientists observed insects under glass. Measured, recorded, judged, and perhaps scheduled. Astronomers continued scanning deep space for the distortion that had marked the fleet's arrival. Nothing appeared. Years passed. Then decades. Children grew up learning about the day the sky burned as a defining moment in human history. Entire generations entered scientific fields driven by a single shared purpose: never be helpless again. Yet one piece of information remained hidden even from many world leaders. Buried deep within encrypted archives was the complete version of the alien transmission. The public had only seen the translated message. But the original signal contained something else. Embedded within the data stream was a repeating pattern, a mathematical structure far too complex to be random. When decoded, the structure revealed coordinates, a location far beyond human travel range, a place the transmission had originated from. Humanity had not simply been tested. Humanity had been catalogued. And somewhere in the darkness, something was waiting for the next report. Humanity did not know when the observers would return. But humanity knew one thing with absolute certainty. Next time, the evaluation would go differently. 31 years passed without another sighting. The silence did not comfort humanity. It sharpened it. Entire generations grew up beneath a quiet sky that no longer felt harmless. Children learned about orbital mechanics alongside basic mathematics. University programs once focused on global economics shifted toward astrophysics, propulsion engineering, and planetary defense strategy. The memory of the 6-hour invasion never faded. It evolved. Earth appeared peaceful to any distant observer. Nations rebuilt their cities, restored communications, and returned to normal life. Tourism resumed. Markets stabilized. Entertainment networks flourished again. Humanity wanted the universe to believe it had moved on. But hidden beneath oceans, carved into mountains, and concealed within drifting asteroid fields, something else was growing. Shipyards in orbit produced vessels that never appeared in public registries. Mining colonies doubled as manufacturing centers capable of constructing structures kilometers wide. New materials absorbed energy signatures that would have been easily detected decades earlier. Humanity did not simply rebuild. Humanity prepared. Artificial intelligence monitored deep space continuously, searching for the distortion pattern recorded during the first encounter. The anomaly had been studied millions of times, simulated under countless theoretical models. Humanity knew what to look for. Humanity knew it would return. When the distortion finally appeared, it was detected instantly. The anomaly formed at the outer edge of the solar system, near the Kuiper belt. Sensors hidden within dormant-looking probes confirmed the signature within seconds. It was identical. Same gravitational ripple. Same energy distribution. Same movement pattern. The observers had come back. Global command activated without public announcement. Civilian populations continued their daily routines, unaware that every major defense system on Earth had just shifted to silent readiness. Humanity did not broadcast warnings. Humanity did not attempt communication. Humanity waited. The alien fleet entered the solar system in perfect formation, just as it had decades earlier. Their movements were precise, efficient, confident. They had returned expecting another evaluation. They expected to find the same fragile species they had tested before. Instead, they found nothing. No visible military fleet. No orbital defense grid. No sign that humanity had advanced at all. Earth's orbital space looked emptier than it had during the first invasion. Satellite density had been deliberately reduced. Energy emissions were carefully controlled to mimic outdated technology. To an outside observer, humanity appeared stagnant, weak, unprepared. The alien fleet advanced toward the inner solar system without hesitation. They had seen this species fail before. They expected the same result. The first anomaly occurred as they passed through the asteroid belt. Several small asteroids shifted slightly from predicted trajectories. Then more moved. Then hundreds. Then thousands. The asteroid belt did not behave like a natural formation anymore. It moved with coordination. Massive rocks rotated, revealing hidden propulsion arrays embedded beneath their surfaces. Dark panels unfolded like mechanical petals, exposing weapon systems that had remained invisible for decades. The asteroid belt was no longer a debris field. It was a fortress. Before the alien fleet could react, dormant objects across millions of kilometers activated simultaneously. Heat signatures appeared everywhere at once, overwhelming targeting calculations. Humanity's fleet did not rise from Earth. It emerged from the shadows of space itself. Ships larger than any structure humanity had previously built accelerated from concealed positions within asteroid clusters. Swarms of smaller vessels launched from hidden docking stations carved into rock formations. Energy signatures flared across the darkness like constellations coming alive. Humanity had not defended Earth directly. Humanity had moved the battlefield far from home. The alien fleet attempted evasive maneuvers, but their predictive models failed. Every path they calculated had already been anticipated. Human strategy had evolved beyond simple resistance. Humanity had studied them for 31 years. Every maneuver the invaders executed triggered layered responses. Every retreat vector intersected with hidden interception points. The observers had expected prey. They had found something patient, something prepared, something waiting. For 8 seconds, the alien fleet attempted to analyze the situation. For 4 seconds, they attempted to adapt. Then the first human weapon fired. The battle for Earth did not begin near Earth at all. It began in the darkness between worlds. And for the first time in human history, humanity was not the one being tested. The battle lasted 8 minutes. 8 minutes that rewrote humanity's place in the universe. The alien fleet had entered the solar system expecting compliance, curiosity, or desperation. Their formations were optimized for observation, not survival. They had returned to finish an evaluation, not fight a war. Humanity gave them neither time nor mercy. Weapons hidden within the asteroid belt fired in synchronized waves. Streams of coherent energy crossed millions of kilometers in perfect alignment, striking the alien vessels before they could fully deploy defensive countermeasures. The observers had underestimated the speed at which humans learned. The first alien ship attempted to reposition, but its path intersected with an invisible gravitational snare generated by coordinated field projectors concealed inside hollow asteroids. The vessel slowed abruptly, its smooth geometric surface warping under pressure it had not anticipated. Then the second ship vanished in a flash of silent light as its energy core destabilized under targeted interference. Human technology had advanced far beyond simple missiles and projectiles. Humanity had studied the invaders' physics. Then humanity had improved it. Entire formations of alien craft attempted to retreat toward the outer system, only to discover their escape vectors already blocked by human vessels that had never appeared on any astronomical registry. The battlefield had been chosen carefully, far enough from Earth to avoid collateral damage. close enough to ensure no invader escaped without permission. Human fleets moved with frightening coordination. Artificial intelligence systems processed combat variables faster than biological minds could perceive, adjusting trajectories in microseconds. Each human ship operated as part of a single strategic organism, adapting continuously. For the first time, the alien fleet experienced uncertainty. Their response patterns changed. Ships attempted to transmit data bursts toward deep space using communication methods that bent spacetime itself. The signals moved faster than light, escaping the battle before interception systems could fully isolate them. Humanity detected the transmissions instantly and understood the implication. The fleet had not been alone. They had been connected, observed, supported by something much larger beyond the boundaries of the solar system. Every alien vessel destroyed during the engagement had successfully transmitted fragments of information outward before failing. Tactical data, energy signatures, combat analysis. Humanity had not simply defeated an invasion force. Humanity had revealed itself. Somewhere far beyond the reach of telescopes, unknown entities were now receiving reports about a species that had evolved from vulnerable to dangerous in only 3 decades. The Global Command Council convened immediately after the final alien ship fell silent. Celebration was brief. Victory was not reassuring. The transmissions meant only one thing. The true decision-makers had not yet acted. Humanity had passed the test. Now humanity might face the examiner. For the first time, the question was no longer whether humanity could defend Earth. The question was whether defense would ever be enough. The Council reached a unanimous conclusion. Waiting invited risk. Silence invited assumptions. Humanity would not allow unknown powers to define its fate from a distance. If observers existed, observers would be visited. Construction began on a vessel unlike any ship previously created. Its design combined experimental propulsion systems with energy manipulation technologies derived from decades of alien signal analysis. The ship was not built for colonization. It was not built for exploration. It was built for clarity. Its destination was derived from the coordinates hidden within the original transmission received 31 years earlier, the signal humanity had never publicly acknowledged. A location deep beyond mapped space. A place where the first evaluation had likely been reviewed. Where decisions about Earth may have already been made. Before launch, humanity prepared a message. Not a threat. Not a declaration of war. A statement. Clear. Simple. Impossible to misunderstand. Humanity had once been measured and found insufficient. Now humanity would present its own evaluation, and ensure the universe understood the result. Rocket. The ship had no official name. Names implied belonging, and this vessel did not belong to any nation, any alliance, or any single world leader. It belonged to humanity. Constructed in absolute secrecy within the shadowed side of the moon, the craft represented the culmination of 31 years of relentless innovation. Its surface appeared fluid, reflecting starlight in shifting patterns as if the ship itself were uncertain where it ended and space began. The propulsion system did not burn fuel. It reshaped space-time. Humanity had learned that the invaders did not travel faster than light in the traditional sense. They folded distance until destinations arrived sooner than expected. Humanity learned to do the same. The coordinates embedded in the original transmission pointed toward a region of space far beyond mapped stellar territory. No known civilization had been detected there. No natural phenomenon explained why the signal had originated from such emptiness. Yet the mathematics of the coordinates contained deliberate structure. Someone had chosen that location. The ship departed without announcement. No public broadcast recorded its launch. No camera captured its departure. The vessel simply ceased to exist within normal space, leaving behind only faint distortions detectable by instruments few people even knew existed. For 27 hours, the ship traveled beyond the boundary of explored space. Then it arrived. The coordinates pointed not to a planet, but to an artificial construct hidden within the gravity shadow of a collapsed star. At first glance, the structure appeared invisible, revealed only by subtle distortions in surrounding radiation patterns. As the human vessel approached, the object revealed its true scale. It was not a station. It was not a fleet. It was an archive. Millions of geometric structures extended in precise formation around a dark gravitational core. Each structure emitted faint pulses of energy, synchronized with mathematical precision across distances too vast for traditional communication. The pattern resembled thought. Data flowed continuously between nodes, forming a network so large that it blurred the line between machine and civilization. Humanity had found the observers. Before any signal could be transmitted, the archive reacted. Entire segments of the structure shifted orientation toward the approaching vessel. Energy readings increased across thousands of nodes simultaneously, as if the construct had awakened from dormancy. A transmission reached the human ship. The language was unknown, but the structure of meaning was unmistakable. A question. Identification requested. Classification required. Purpose demanded. Humanity answered with the same simplicity that had defined its response for decades. A single message was transmitted across every detectable frequency. Earth was invaded once. For 1.3 seconds, the archive processed the statement. Humanity transmitted the second line. Never again. Silence followed. Then the archive responded. The construct shifted its configuration, transmitting enormous volumes of information toward unknown destinations beyond even its own structure. Entire segments of the network altered alignment, as if updating records across an unseen system of observers far beyond this single location. Humanity realized something profound. This was not an empire. This was not a government. This was a catalogue. Civilizations were observed, evaluated, recorded, some likely approved, others likely erased. Earth's record had just been rewritten. Moments later, the archive transmitted a final response. The translation required significant processing, but its meaning became clear quickly. Classification updated. Pause. Civilization designated. Non-viable target. Another pause. Advisory distributed. The network shifted again, transmitting the updated classification outward across unknown distances. Humanity did not know how many other observers existed. Humanity did not know what threats had just been prevented. But humanity knew something important had changed. Earth would not be tested again. The human vessel remained long enough to transmit one final addition to the record. Not a threat. Not a demand. A declaration of identity. Humanity seeks peace. Pause. Humanity prepares for war. As the vessel departed, the archive continued updating distant systems with new information about a species that had refused to remain prey. Across the galaxy, unseen civilizations would receive the same simple conclusion. Earth had already been evaluated, and the result had become permanent. Humans could be studied. Humans could be respected. But humans would never be invaded twice. Rocket.